This video is sponsored by ZENONZARD. Is Mystic Mine really that bad? Let's find out, as considering last week's video on 5 decks you may love, I thought it would only be fitting to do the same for decks you may hate. So today, let's discuss 5 Yu-Gi-Oh decks you may hate. Before we do that, a word about today's sponsor, ZENONZARD. ZENONZARD is actually a very unique mobile trading card game based on the ZENONZARD anime. Speaking of the anime, make sure to check out clips like this one on the official ZENONZARD YouTube channel. The game revolves around building a 40 card deck from a current selection of 500 different cards to choose from. The most unique aspect of the card game is their creative twist on the mana mechanic, where after using your creatures for mana, you can either once per turn move your creatures from your mana pool to the battlefield, or if you need more mana in that given moment, you can move from your battlefield creatures to the mana pool. This is quite a unique feature of the game, giving new life to the mana mechanic in card games as a whole. But that's not all. Through your journey in creating decks from a 500 card pool or battling it out in a competitive mode, you'll be aided by one of 16 AI codemen designed to match your personality and be a buddy through your journey into the wondrous world of ZENONZARD. I actually think this game is highly innovative and really freaking fun. And with this in mind, I highly recommend clicking the link in the description to download ZENONZARD and earn potentially 240 out of the 500 cards from ongoing events and campaigns in July. And if you're wanting to connect with people, the best way to do so is to mention the hashtag ZenonZardACI on Facebook and Twitter to discuss and share images of the game or connect with other players in the ZenonZard community. Thank you ZenonZard once again for sponsoring this video, and with that, let's get right into this. The first deck to discuss are any meta-relevant archetypes. What's interesting is I wouldn't argue that they're hated due to them being good, but rather it's because being good will lead to repetition. To further my argument, I'll give you an example. The finals of YCS Milan 2019 saw Sky Striker defeat Pure Orcus, and the match ended in the Sky Striker player resolving 3 different copies of Engage in the same turn. The frustration out of this moment wasn't because of the player or just the sacky nature of what occurred, as that is naturally a part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Rather, the frustration came from watching specifically Sky Striker win in such dominant fashion for another finals in a row after constantly watching the deck perform at the top tables over the course of the past year. Similarly, we're now in a format where Hauki Fibrax resolving almost automatically means the player resolving Hauk will win the game because of how much advantage you gain from one card. In the beginning, it may have been considered cool seeing something out of the norm, but that feeling quickly changed amongst the community after first off, every deck started playing it, and second, how Hauki Fibrax enables such degenerate combos. While meta decks are hated for repetition, the next few examples I'm going to give tackle a different form of annoyance, being the lack of an ability to play the game. For the second deck, I slapped Stun on this list. While in today's day and age we have insane back row removal options like Lightning Storm and Evenly Matched, when Stun gets going, it's painful to watch. It's not even that the strategy is good. The problem is they just seem to always win the die roll, and it's not fun dealing with Pot of Extravagance into an Inspector border and 5 back row. The funny thing is, the third deck on this list doesn't suffer as much from this going second dilemma Stun represents, and it seems that it would be considered a next-gen form of Stun in the form of True Draco. Some decks I will never call a hero, whether that's Sky Striker or in this case, True Draco. This deck is the definition of a modern Stun deck, as its capability to set up floodgates and break boards with ease can sometimes be oppressing for strategies. Their main mechanic is to tribute summon monsters with continuous spells and traps, and in its heyday, especially with a card like Masterpiece existing, and their capability to draw 3 cards with Card of Demise so consistently, made the deck a consistent force to be reckoned with. Over time, however, we've lost pieces to the core strategy like Masterpiece, Card of Demise to 1, and Diagram to 1. The last 2 hits especially crippled the theme to the point of unplayability as even a tier 2 deck. As of now, however, when they do pop off, it's as if the balance did nothing to them, and this theme will always be a villain in my heart, putting it on the list. Before we continue, if you're tired of Mystic Mine and can't deal with them anymore, I got the hot sauce to cure it. The cure is actually to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date with my latest content. Also, if you do enjoy my content, make sure to like this video as it helps me and my videos do better with the algorithm. Thank you all so much, and with that, let's continue this list. The fourth deck I want to discuss is, bear with me for a second, Pendulum. Pendulum has always been good in a range from decent all the way to tier 0. And while we all love it for the meme because of a man by the name of Steven Trifanowski, do you really want to deal with the deck when they win the die roll? I mean, realistically, the deck sets up like 3 to 8 negates turn 1, and at any time in the past, for me for example, that I've stared down it at a tournament, they always win the die roll, they always set up their board, and then I just dip into the side deck to prepare for game 2. In terms of the meme, I love the deck, but realistically, it can be really annoying to play against. And while this one specifically I don't think is hated by everybody whatsoever, I think it's a valid enough deck to be put on my list of decks you may hate. Although realistically, we're never hating the deck because Pendulum best deck, baby! One honorable mention I would like to add is Sky Striker. For some people, the deck may have become a hero, but for me, that will never be the case. I've tried Sky Striker in the past, and I've always disliked playing it, but especially after how long of a tenure it had as a viable option, I've lost my will to see any enjoyment out of the deck. When Ryan Yu, for example, won an LCS with Sky Striker, I had so many mixed emotions, as I wanted Ryan to win because he's an exceptional player and 100% deserves it, especially with the rogue strategy, but seeing Sky Striker win another event made me want to vomit. So if there was another deck I'd add to the list, it's definitely the Raise Bay strategy. Finally, the last deck to discuss is the obligatory Mystic Mine. While I usually don't put one deck over another on my list videos, I think specifically right now I can state confidently that this is the most hated strategy in the game. And there are a few reasons for this. The first reason is that there is just no fundamental interactive gameplay in this strategy. You activate Mystic Mine, your opponent cannot use monster effects or attack, and you just wait until you either burn them for game, deck them out, use final countdown or any other win condition, or they just beat you. The second reason, why would someone enjoy a strategy like this? Generally speaking, some people may actually enjoy the thrill of methodically burning your opponent for game and watching them suffer to a boiling degree of 465 Fahrenheit, getting ready for the banquet. Oh, sorry, I got carried away there. But yeah, no, Mystic Mine, generally speaking, is not a cool strategy. It is boring to watch and play against. It's essentially a luck-based matchup to see who wins. It doesn't really go second that well like other Sun decks in the past. It's just a roller coaster of so many bad qualities with luck-based factors thrown in there, making it a terrible experience for generally both players, guaranteeing its spot on the list of 5 Yu-Gi-Oh decks you may hate. Thank you all so much for watching, and with that, I hope to see you soon.